Are you seeking fulfillment for your life? Do you want freedom from fear? That's why we're here. Welcome to Jesus 101, introducing you to the real Jesus. And now, here's your host, Elizabeth Talbot.
Hello everyone, Elizabeth Talbot here from the Jesus 101 Biblical Institute. Welcome to our program. We are so happy with this series that we're having because we're learning so much. It's a series on the battle is the Lord's, which means that no matter what battle you're facing in your life, remember that the Lord is in control of that battle. And to help us with this series, we have brought a great student of the Bible, Pastor Massiel Davila-Ferrer. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing good.
We're having a great time looking at the illogical, impossible battles that God wins for us.
That's right. And what we have learned as we study is that the battles happen in strange ways because God is teaching us that the battle is the Lord's.
It's His.
Right?
Yes.
And they're metaphors of salvation so that we don't forget that the reason why we will be saved is because God did it for us, not because we're strong or wise or knowledgeable, right?
And as we're learning, not just then, but He continues to do it for us today.
Yeah,
because
in our
there's
daily
so
lives.
much applies exactly to the battles in our daily lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, today we have a very interesting battle, and we have called it the battle of reassurance, because sometimes we take a detour. You know, we go somewhere that we shouldn't have gone, and we had assurance before that, but then we wonder, is God still with us after the detour?
Yes.
You know, so many people that left the Lord or that are struggling with something, they go, yeah, when I was a good kid, God was with me. But now I left and wonder, is God going to still fight my battle?
And a detour, I mean, sometimes you get lost, but sometimes you're like, no, I'm going left. Like we make an intentional decision to move away from God. And so sometimes we feel guilt.
Yeah.
So how does God reassure us in that?
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because the Bible over and over tells us that God's love for us is greater than our failures, which means that if you have had a detour, like many of us have had, you find that the moment that you want to go back to God, God does this recalculating. So I call the GPS grace positioning system instead of global positioning system, because I think what God does, He has this amazing ability to reroute our lives even when we have made detours voluntarily.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. We get lost and He brings us back constantly without feeling guilt. I feel sometimes when the GPS on my phone is repositioning that it's like repositioning, it's sassy about it. Yeah. But God's never like that when He's bringing us back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to today's drawing, as you know, we have an artist has made a separate drawing for each one of our battles. And for today's battle, we have Joshua telling the sun to stand still, which we will get there today. And I love this drawing because it reminds us that there is no limit to God's resources and His love for us and what He can do for us, even after a detour, right? Yeah. So we're going to talk about why we're calling it a detour in a moment, but I think it's important to, maybe you are needing reassurance. Yes, the Lord has been with me in the past, but then I took the detour. I don't know if He's going to be with me in the present or the future because of that detour. And today we want to tell you, absolutely, in the moment that you turn to God, He definitely is going to say, hey, you're in my hands. In the moment you want to be, you are.
And one of the things, we'll get there, but He gives time. When there seems to be no time, He is that resourceful that He's capable of bringing back some of that for Joshua and the Israelites.
It's never too late. Perhaps you are later in life and you're going, oh, man, I should have kicked this addiction 30 years ago, and now it's too late. I lost my family. And God says, I gave you time, and I'm still with you, and in the moment you want to do my will, I'm here.
And even I'm a bit of a procrastinator. You don't seem like a procrastinator, Pastor Elizabeth, but I sure am. But even it says that God says, I can take that time back for you as well.
Yeah, I can redeem the time.
Yes, redeem the time.
Absolutely. And that's the beautiful thing about God. He can make all things work for the good of those who love Him, which, that's Romans 8:28. And I always used to say, all things, even my detours. God says, even that. Yeah. Okay, let's get started.
Yes.
We are going to the battle of reassurance, and we're starting with Joshua 9. So After Jericho, which is one of the big battles, and we have already studied in a previous program, they got a little confident and they thought, okay, now we can go on our own. We can send less people. We're going to, it's not a problem.
Dry ground, no problem.
Yeah. We got this. And then they had a defeat because they forgot to ask the Lord for guidance. Yeah. Isn't it interesting how the human ego is? It's like, I got this. And then, no, I don't. The battle is the Lord's. Yeah. And so in chapter 9, we have another situation, a strange situation, that they forget again to ask guidance of the Lord.
And it's just ask for guidance. They don't even have to do anything. Just ask for guidance.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm hurt by how much that speaks to my own life when
right.
I set out these
Many
expectations.
Of us, exactly. Yes. So chapter 9, we have this interesting situation. The Gibeonites, everybody is afraid of Israel now because they're conquering cities, right? And the Gibeonites are a big city, and they still decide to get crafty. So let's read chapter 9, verses 2. Let's do 3 and 4.
Okay. However, when the people of Gibeon heard that Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they resorted to a ruse. To me, that's a little bit like this. They resorted to a ruse.
Okay.
They went as a delegation whose donkeys were loaded with worn-out sacks and old wineskins, cracked and mended. Not just a ruse, but a play.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They got things that were old. And verse 5, it says, and worn out and patched sandals on their feet and worn out clothes, and all the bread of their provisions was moldy, crumbled, and dry. So they wanted to make it look like they came from a distant country and they were their neighbors. But they're so afraid of them that they go, we're going to tell them that we're from far away, and they're going to make a pact with us, a covenant, and then we're set. Yeah,
exactly.
Right? So here we're told that Joshua said, verse 8, they said to Joshua, we are your servants. And Joshua said to them, who are you and where do you come from? And please read verse 9.
Sure. They answered, your servants have come from a very distant way. Now they're really getting into country because of the fame of the Lord your God. For we heard reports to him and all that he did in Egypt and all that he did to the 2 kings, the Amorites, east of the Jordan, Sihon and king of Heshbon, Og, etc. Yeah. The elders and all of those living in the other countries said to us, take provisions for your journey. Go and meet them and say them, we are your servants. Make treaty with us.
And they say on verse 12, this bread was warm when we left, and look, now it's dry. So they...
Can you imagine? Look, our sandals are worn out, our moldy bread. Look at all the evidence we're presenting to you.
It's such a long road.
Because they never answer where they're from. They just emphasize.
And we have this verse 14. The men of Israel took some of their provisions and did not ask for the counsel of the Lord. Again. Yeah. Again. So do you have a GPS?
I do. Of course. I'm traveling right now. I want to make it to my hotel.
And so the GPS is interesting because it has the ability, there you go.
Yeah.
Very good. To reroute, right? When we made a mistake. But the God has an ability that the GPS doesn't have. And that is to make new routes that do not exist.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Like
the Red Sea
rivers.
opening and the Jordan opening. So even if in your life you have had a really bad detour, remember that God has the ability to make a new way. And they are going back to their detours. They forget to ask counsel of the Lord. They make a covenant here. Verse 15, they make peace with them and made a covenant with them, and then they realize these were our neighbors, which we were supposed to conquer.
Yes. And just ask, I wonder how many times you ask for help for your neighbor, and we don't think to just ask for counsel. God, is this a good plan? I think it goes back to that idea of standing still.
Take a stand, take a moment, and ask the Lord.
Okay. What's next?
Yeah. And so they make a pact, make a covenant, and then they realize they're their neighbors, which they were supposed to conquer.
And an oath, like they can't go back on
they can't go back because it's in the name of God, right? Of their God. And so verse 19, it says, all the leaders said to the whole congregation, we have sworn to them by the Lord, which in Hebrew is Yahweh, Jehovah, the God of Israel, and now we cannot touch them. Yeah. We cannot touch our neighbors because they deceived us, but we made an oath in the name of the Lord. So So now what are we going to do? So what do they do with them? Do you remember?
Yeah, they decide to maybe pull a little bit of a Pharaoh situation. They can't go back, so they're going to make workers out of them. They're going to say, okay, we're not going to harm you. We're going to protect you, but now we're going to put you to work.
Okay.
Going to collect our water and gather our wood.
That's right.
I guess it turned out okay. Even.
Yeah, and they said, that's fine with us, as long as you don't kill us. They said, we did this, we deceived you because we were so afraid of you.
And they were afraid of them and their God. They recognized how powerful their God was.
Yeah, but Joshua and the people forgot to ask God for guidance. Okay, so now we're done with the detour. What's going to happen in the next battle, right? So verse 27, it says, but Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and drawers of water for the congregation and for the altar of the Lord. So they became their helpers, their servants, but they are now allies.
Yes.
So in chapter 10, we have kings.
That's so true. They have to protect them now. It's not only that they can't harm them.
Well, and that's the thing, you see. I always say, God is so faithful to us. But sometimes with other people, we go, no, if he's not faithful to me, I'm not going to be faithful back, right? For example, I've seen it in marriages. No, he's been unfaithful. That means I'm going to be unfaithful.
Right.
And they said, no, we made a vow in the name of the Lord, and is the Lord the one that is, on the line here.
Isn't that something? And now their ruse for the Gibeonites also gave them God's protection.
Isn't amazing? Just because they give their word. Exactly. Now the Gibeonites are going to be attacked. Now, not just one. Check this out. Chapter 10, verse 1. Just the first sentence, if you can read it.
Okay, sure. Now, Adoni-Zedek, the king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had taken Ai and totally destroyed it, doing to Ai and its kings as he had done to Jericho and its king. And the people of Gibeon had made a treaty of peace with Israel and were living near them.
And they feared greatly because the Gibeonites, Gibeon was a great city. Yeah. So they said, wow, if the Gibeonites were so afraid that they made a pact, what are we going to do?
We can't go on this together alone.
I have some paper people here.
Did you make those?
Yes.
Good work.
Okay, thank you. So when you have to fight one enemy, you might think, okay, I'm strong enough.
Yes.
But when there is an alliance of enemies against you, in this case, this king, Adoni-Zedek, a king of Jerusalem, this is the first time in the Bible the name Jerusalem comes up. Adoni-Zedek means my Lord is righteousness. And perhaps you remember another king from the same area called Melchizedek, which means my king is righteousness. They decided to make an alliance. So they started calling kings from a lot of other cities. So then we have 5 kings. I made a few more just for effect.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have 5 kings now. Okay, I'm going to take these ones out. 5 kings that are going to ally themselves. Is that a good word? Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. They make an alliance to go fight the Gibeonites. And the Gibeonites go, Joshua, Israelites, you made a covenant with us, so now you have to defend us.
Yeah, because they are aware, like, we know these guys, and 5 of them. And sometimes that's how our problems feel.
Yes.
It's 1, and then it's,
2, and then it's 3, and then
compound.
Has it happened to you that you say, okay, I can handle this one thing, this bad lab report, but then your kid is out of, it takes a detour, and then this other news comes in, and then your job fails, and you're like, really, Lord, 5 kings against me?
And doesn't that feel like 5 individual battles? Because that's the thing. Sometimes it's the battle before the battle. It's the battle. It's the surrounding things that we feel
and in this case, is the battle of, okay, can God be with me after I took a detour?
Yeah.
Because
Sitting
we forgot.
in their failure.
We're in this situation because we forgot to ask counsel of the Lord. Can God still defend us? I mean, I had a girl, a young adult. I was a young adult pastor for many years, who came one day and said to me, I didn't always do things the way the Lord wanted me to do. And now I'm getting married. Can God still bless me, even I did all kinds of things before marriage that I wasn't supposed to do, and now I'm getting married? Can God still bless me? What do you think my answer was?
Absolutely. But not just, I was like, you shook her. You're like, absolutely, of course.
It's like, you know who was who were the parents of the wisest man on earth? Solomon. It was David and Bathsheba, and they had committed adultery, and God still blessed them with the wisest man. What was God thinking, right? Well, he was trying to teach us that his love for us is greater than our failures.
Do you know, I think that, for me, there's this comfort that when I make a mistake, I feel like God is eager eager to bless me, so to reassure me.
Oh, I like that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
To say, I know how you're feeling and what you must be feeling about yourself, but I want you to know for sure, I don't feel that way. I'm eager to bring you back to me, to show you that I can restore these things.
Love that.
Oh, you like that? Okay.
Yes, I like that.
It's true. It's true for me.
And God told him that. So we have on verse 5 of chapter 10, the 5 kings of the Amorites, the kings of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon, they gathered together and they camped against Gibeon, and Gibeon goes, Joshua, please come to help.
Yes.
And
do not abandon your servants.
Do not abandon your servants.
Yes.
And so
your neighbor servants.
That's right. And I can't imagine what Joshua was thinking at that moment. It's like, oh, I got myself into this problem. Now I got to defend them. 5 kings against. I wonder if God is going to be with us. And so let's watch Joshua for a moment. What do you think he was thinking at this moment?
Oh my God! I can't believe we just did that. How could we? Oh. We trusted in what our eyes could see and forgot to ask you for guidance. Oh. But the people of Gibeon really did look like foreigners who had come from far away. Of course, that is no excuse for making an alliance with them. Oh. They lied to us and we fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Oh, forgive us, Lord. It was a foolish mistake. On top of that, this isn't the first time our self-assurance has gotten us into trouble. And to make matters worse, now that there are servants, there are 5 kings that are coming to fight them, and the Gibeonites are asking us to help them. Oh, this has been a huge mistake. Oh. Lord, my question is, will you still help us, even after we have failed you so miserably? Is your mercy greater than our failures and detours? I really need your reassurance, Lord. The battle against this powerful alliance is hopeless if you do not fight for us. I know that you're a God who forgives, but I don't want only your forgiveness. I need your guidance and your reassurance. I need your strength and your power fighting for us, as you did in Jericho. The battle is yours, not ours. We are nothing without you. In the past, you have saved us so many times, even after we failed you. Thank you for your faithfulness in spite of our foolishness. Please, God, give me your assurance if I'm to lead your people into this battle. What's that? What? Oh, thank you. Thank you for your reassurance. Oh, I can't wait to see the miracles that you will perform for the glory of your name. Oh, thank you that your love is greater than our failures and that your mercy surpasses our foolishness. Oh, and now we go forward in your name.
Sometimes I try to picture what I would say, what I would think if I were Joshua, right? I mean, it's hard. But at this point, he's reassured of God's presence.
He has to be. Otherwise, he doesn't have any more time to sit and beat himself up or to not mobilize the army.
Yes.
The consequences are at hand, so you got to move on
Yeah,
sometimes.
and he believes that God's guidance and love and everything else is greater than the failures they had in the past. And we all need that reassurance, right?
And he had to, because now he has a 35-kilometer walk to really think about what he's done and the situation
exactly. And
they're in.
verse 7 says that Joshua went from Gilgal, he and all the people at war with him, all the valiant warriors, and they go to Gibeon, and it's about 35 kilometers away. And here we have one of the most beautiful reassurances because this is the battle of reassurance. Will God be with us the way he was in Jericho and when we cross the Jordan after we have done our detour? And yes, God says, verse 8,
do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you. Even after you have failed me, even after you didn't come to me for counsel,
yes,
I'm still going to be with you.
And that's the most, see, if you think about it, all of the history of humankind is one big detour.
Yes.
You know, starting from Eden.
Yeah.
And,
like,
right?
We took a bad turn right away there.
And God said, I am with you.
Yes.
I will save you anyway. So in the moment that you turn to God, in that moment, he reroutes.
That's it. That is so true. Everything is a detour. Like, I don't even know what the first trip was because I'm constantly trying to get right turn right.
Yeah,
I don't even know
mercy,
anymore.
God's grace is greater than our detours, and we can't forget that.
Yeah.
And that's why we have called this program the Battle of Reassurance, right? So verse 8 is that assurance, do not fear, for I have given them into your hands. And this was something that God had promised to Joshua back in chapter 1 of this book of Joshua. He said, I will be with you. And now he reassures him.
And God is making that promise fully knowing how many times Joshua is going to end up taking wrong turns.
Or forget to ask him for guidance.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So here we have one of the most amazing, I don't even know what to call it. God is fighting for his people, and Joshua is there. So you have the activity of humans and then the activity of God and humans working together. It's just the most beautiful thing. So let's read it, verse 9 and 10.
After an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel, who defeated them in a great victory at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road going up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, see, my version says he, talking about God, slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon. See, battle is not our current language, but it was their language.
Right.
So this was their culture, right? And through the battles, God is showing that he's active. So it's interesting because, Joshua arrives, but the Lord is the one that confuses them.
That's right.
It's
and
not
that's
Joshua.
His favorite. Like, I can't help but notice how many times that's God's favorite military tactic. Confusion.
Yeah, so the enemy start killing themselves.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then it says, look, verse 11, they fled from Israel while they were at the descent of Beth Horon. The Lord threw large stones from heaven. So you can see, Joshua is his agent, but the one that is doing the battle is Yahweh. Is God,
literally doing the heavy lifting, like Joshua. And the miracle of all of the Israelites being preserved amidst this extraordinary show of God's power.
Yes, and look, first he confuses the enemy, then he throws stones from heaven.
But he's not done.
He's not done. I love this part. See, I think here, I have a sword here because I know Joshua and them, they had tools for the battle. But look at the end of verse 11. It says, there were more who died from the hailstones than those whom the sons of Israel killed with the sword.
And I think that the toy sword is a very appropriate allusion to what we go into battle with. We just got a toy sword and God's like, I got you. It's okay, Lizzie.
It's like the little kids playing and God says, the battle is mine.
We go with water guns to our...
Yeah, exactly. And
but
God
he lets us, right?
Yeah,
he lets us.
We're his agent, but he's behind the scenes. And that's why it's so important to understand that they're working together, but the one that is doing the real thing is God behind the scene. He sends the hailstorms. And so here we have something amazing. Verse 12.
On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, O sun, stand still over Gibeon, O moon over the valley of Ajallu. The sun stood still and the moon stopped and all the nation avenged itself on its enemies. I've prayed this prayer before, but it never worked. Like it was about a Greek exam or I needed more time.
That's a little different. Joshua says, I need more time. And God says, fine, I'm going to make the sun stay still.
The confidence that Joshua has to pray that prayer in front of Israel too.
After all that has happened.
The failure, the
the
God needing to
forgetting
show
to ask.
up, all of it.
Yeah, and the most beautiful thing here is that the narrative alternates God's supernatural intervention with human activity. You know, Joshua falls suddenly and God causes the panic.
Yes.
Israel defeats and God sends large stones from sky. Joshua prays and the sand stands still. So you have all this supernatural thing going behind the scenes.
Doesn't that speak to how we may not be seeing God moving in our lives, but we're doing something and God shows up, and we try to do our little thing and God's showing up. He never leaves us too far, too much alone.
Not even to our detours.
Yeah.
And that's the most amazing principle of the gospel for me. And so here we have that the Lord fought, verse 14, there was no day like that before or after when the Lord listened to the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. And of course, they were victorious in this battle. But
surely the Lord is fighting for Israel in the detour after the failure. Surely God is fighting for you. Because, okay, maybe I didn't make an alliance with a foreign national, but I've made some mistakes. I've taken some terrible detours.
Absolutely.
And surely God is fighting for me and for you and for our viewers at home.
Yes.
He's fighting for us.
Yes, and salvation works that way too. If you have made detours and you have gone to a dark alley in your life, in the moment you turn to God, God says, I got you. The battle is mine. And you can be reassured not only of my love, but of my power to save you. Yeah, and that's why we have this beautiful drawing here of Joshua stopping the sun and saying, okay, God, please stop the sun for a little while so we can finish this battle. So let's summarize this. The covenant to save us. I have a beautiful sign on the cross. I hope you can see it. It says, rest assured. Rest assured, even after your detours, that in the moment you turn back to God, God has your back.
Yes.
And He has it on salvation, and He has it on your daily battles, even when you have made mistakes. God doesn't say, hey, you made those mistakes, I'll forget you. He never says that. And Joshua becomes reassured, and he even asked God to stop the sun.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So.
And the difference, like, sometimes it's easier for us to see, oh yeah, my salvation is sure, but what about this daily battle, this pain I'm in this moment?
And God says it works the same way as your salvation, you know? So I want to finish by reading a couple of very beautiful verses. Romans chapter 8, when you are assured that nothing can separate you, not from God, not even your mistakes. You want to read verses 38 and 39?
Yes. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth nor anything else in all creation, not even my mistakes, will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord.
What a beautiful reassurance.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us, Massiel.
Thank you.
And now I want to tell our audience, don't forget this sign that is behind me. Rest assured that God can save us to the uttermost, even when you have made a detour, whether that meant you forgot to ask for His guidance or you actually voluntarily left His side. Once you're coming back, He never left you. See, we leave Him. He never leaves us. So be assured. That's why we have called this the battle of reassurance. In your heart, in your mind, be assured that God's love is greater than your detours. And the battle is the Lord's. Always the battle is the Lord's, even after a great failure.